Hello, Miss Keisha Carey. Oh, wait a minute. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hello, how are you?
Thank you for being here with us today.
Thank you.
You're
It's
looking
a
real.
pleasure.
We have with us a veteran teacher of 41 years. She's on the Atlanta Federation of Teachers Executive Board, Ms. Frankie Long. Hi.
Nice. Hi, nice meeting you.
And we also have the Executive Director of Georgia Federation of Teachers, Mr. Ron Fowler. Hello.
Nice meeting you, Mr. Powell.
As well. And so we're going to jump right into this since we only have 30 minutes. Now, we are recording this, Ms. Carey, and we're going to share this with the greater community. Okay?
All right,
All
let's
right.
get started.
All right. First, tell us originally, what city and state are you originally from?
I am originally from Atlanta, Georgia, a Georgia
Oh,
peach.
they're going to take both of our heads and put them on the wall.
All right.
And, all right. So, what do you do presently for a living?
I am currently employed with T-Mobile. I have been in corporate business for over 20 years.
Okay.
And also, I am a former substitute teacher as well.
All right, then. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I
So we
also
know.
want you, I'm sorry, I also want you to know that I am a product of Atlanta Public Schools. I went to elementary and high school in Atlanta. I am a graduate of Harper High School. And then after that, I attended Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta. So I am Atlanta all the way.
So we want the world to know that I don't have final say so, but now y'all, I'm partial toward Atlanta. So I'm just
Okay, all right.
but anyway, just talking a little bit. Okay, all righty. Tell us why are you seeking to be on this board of education, and while I'm at it, tell us the two pros and two cons about this board.
Well, I'm running not only as a candidate, but as a graduate of the Atlanta Public School System, like I said earlier. My top priority as a school board member is to restore the confidence of the constituents and stakeholders regarding transparency in education with school choice from pre-K to 12th grade, specifically within the district of Atlanta, and that's District 2.
Okay.
Some of the
So
challenges are, I'm sorry?
go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Some of the challenges are, as I speak to the people in District 2, and I've often done that recently, many are concerned that students are falling further behind, especially amidst the COVID pandemic. People also need to feel that they can trust the school system with day-to-day decisions, which need to make practical sense that impact our students. Therefore, new leadership is needed.
Okay. Thank you. Um, you said in regards to choice, and that's going to lead right on into the next question. So we're not asking every candidate the questions in order, and some of the things that they say may lead to different questions. Um, Tell us your opinion about the various types of charter schools in Atlanta, and if you have any knowledge as to how much we are paying those charter schools to administer the schools that they are administering, and how these particular charter schools line up in comparison or contrast to schools that are not charter schools.
And I think what the school board is lacking is a people vision. People are speaking, but I don't think anyone is really listening. I know in the very beginning when charters were implemented, a lot of people in the community were against charters because they see it as charter schools could be possibly taking public funds and running a charter school as a business, which the community doesn't seem like they're engaged. They don't trust what's going on. So I think at this point, though, school choice, after charter schools were implemented, I think school choice, uh, everyone has the right to have school choice, but not if it's going to come at a cost. So in terms of the charter schools, I do know that there are long-term contracts that have already been previously signed by the school board. And I know a lot of efforts and things have been put in to make those changes. I am in favor of school choice, but not if it's going to compromise student, teachers, and staff.
Could you tell us if you were able to find, and if you were, where did you find the matrix for the accountability and the performance of the charter schools as per Atlanta public school system?
I've looked at, and there are some things that are listed out there on the Georgia State Education site, so that that information would be there.
Okay. Can the public readily see how much is being spent on the administration of charter schools where companies are in charge?
And I think that's the issue. I think that the community is not able to see those things clearly, and is also not communicated by the school board in a clear manner, so that the public can understand. I think the public at this point, especially in District 2, they appear to be lost. And what I would like to do is bridge the gap with transparency, make everything clear. I know a lot of candidates have said these things before in the past, but unless you engage parents, educators, and unless you continue follow up, you engage the community, and you listen, and you really be a listening ear, these things are not going to change, because I think the current leadership has just somehow been a school board in name, and they're actually not taking the actions and looking into details. And you really need someone there that's a strong leader, and that someone can trust.
Thank you. About how many students are in the Atlanta public school system?
I believe that number has fluctuated, so I don't want to. I know and I tend not to state that number out, because I know with virtual learning and things like that, there's been some attendance issues.
Would you agree that there's about 50,000?
Yes, and I was going to say that roughly from previous information, there has been, I would say roughly about 50,000, but I would not want to completely quote that because of some of the challenges with the COVID pandemic, but I would safely say 50,000. Yes, that is.
Well, let's just say that we have 50,000 students. Of course, some are coming from the same household.
Yes.
And there are various types of households our students are coming from, but we know that students are coming from somewhere.
Yes.
How or what means do you know of right now that APS is communicating to parents? How do they do it? And are there other ways that we can reach every parent in the school district?
I don't think that there are some concerns about parents being reached. Like I said, especially I know one of the topics is the COVID pandemic, and a lot of parents, not sure where their kids are. I think the first thing is that schools need to be completely open about, where the learning is, where the loss of learning is, and set a measurement to access a baseline to determine where students are academically. Somehow we have to set resources and avenues that we are open to engage parents as much as possible. Whatever technology that we need to be innovative, we need to be forward thinking. So all resources are on the table. We need to look at what's working. We need to look at what's not working. A lot of times we want to, probably come in and reimagine, but I think we need to actually just really look at what is working and what's not working that could already be out there and existing.
How would you like to, or what would you like to implement if you could have your way with a magic wand to make sure that the district is reaching every parent?
I think continued follow-up community meetings, continue follow-up, continue engagement, continuously asking, what can we do for you? If we have to do some innovative things through technology, I'm sure a lot of this is already out there. You can do text messaging, you can do a lot of other innovative resources that, can be available, working with nonprofits and things of that nature to reach every parent and make sure that that they have as much information, whatever it takes to roll up your sleeves and get it done, whatever's on the table in terms of communication.
All right, there are various constituents that are served by Atlanta Public Schools, be it private business, nonprofits, parents, churches, which is a nonprofit, but a little different, employees, and et cetera. If you could choose just one of those groups that the Board of Education leans toward right now, which group would you say they lean toward, even if it's just a little tiny percent?
Repeat the question. I'm sorry, Ms. Turner.
Okay. The Atlanta Public Schools caters to, these are just some of the constituents, parents, and I include students in that, private businesses, nonprofits, and we take churches away from nonprofits, so we say, and churches and employees. In your opinion, who does Atlanta Public Schools, name one, cater to most?
I think I don't know if it's one particular one that they cater to most. I know that there's a lot on the list. It seems like you have one in mind that you are seeking for me to answer here. So I'll have to lay this on you. Do you have?
We want to ask you as a school board person, taxpayer, and a person running for the board, or what your observation is. This board catering to the private sector? Does it cater to parents more? Does it cater to employees?
Oh, okay. Well, I understand. I'm sorry. I thought you wanted me to name a specific company. I think the Atlanta School Board is catering to private sector more. I would say that. I think some of the monies and things that are allocated in budgets and funding have gone a lot towards private sector.
Okay. Has the Central Labor Council, North Georgia Atlanta Labor Council reached out to you to interview you?
No, they have not.
Okay. You have something to write with?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I'm gonna give you their phone number. It is 404-525-3559. And there's a woman that's a secretary by the name of Sandra Williams over there. And although Rita Scott is not, she's just one I know that's on the interviewing board, but she doesn't work there. But I would like for you to leave messages for both, so that the secretary, whoever picks up the phone over there, can know that you left one for Rita also. We have our reasons for that. Rita Scott and Sandra Williams. Let them know.
I'm sorry, Ms. Turner, that number is 404-525-3559. That would be Sandra Williams and Rita Scott, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
And this coming Wednesday, because the day is the 7th, tomorrow at 8, they are supposed to be doing a vote for endorsement. And I just sent them a little video asking them to hold off. If they're gonna do something with the city council and the mayor, that's one thing, but hold off with the school district. And in fact, Central Labor Council wasn't involved in school board races. We hadn't said this to anybody until the Atlanta Federation of Teachers went to them. Charlie Fleming, which is now EFLC, our old president, used to be head of Central Labor Council, and he tried to get us together because there are some private sector unions within labor, and they will have an interest in building contracts and et cetera. That's the deal there. So we are a public sector union. And they got involved at our asking. That's when this board with Matt Westmoreland and Estevez and Isha Collins and Courtney English. Am I leaving anybody out from that board? Well, we saw a lot of folks coming from Teach for America, and we knew some things that Teach for America was doing around the country. So to affect politics. And in our opinion, Teach for America has done some wonderful things, but it has a lot of lacking also. And we've heard from some Teach for America people themselves. Anything can be improved. So that goes into the next question. And so that's when the Central Labor Council got involved. We've also seen Ask Me, and I'm calling them out because this is going to be recorded, being run by 2 or 3 people who said a lot of disparaging things over to the city council about one union called PACE. Another guy said some disparaging things about us, but we got a little tough skin, right? But they're making a difference. But the membership of Ask Me, which are usually bus drivers, and we need them dearly, and custodians. God knows we need
Yes, and
custodians.
there is a shortage, I know, of bus drivers. Yes, there is a
And
shortage.
we need them all. I mean, because schools can't rock and roll. We can't rock and roll without what we call them secondary teachers. But of course they're going to listen to their leadership. But we saw Ask Me go against the Central Labor Council's endorsement. That was the first time we did an endorsement, and they are now leading some things out that we think are problematic. So when one candidate who's running for city council says that labor unions back me, some of these are private sector labor unions that deal with contracts, meaning they dealing with the bottom line. A lot of them, most of them don't even live in the city of Atlanta or nowhere around, haven't served in school district either. But that's about that right there. Yeah, I said it. So you need to know that.
Yes.
But teacher organizations are concerned about why we are in business, which is preparing our students for the future, which helps us. Because Frank and I sure enough going to need some help now because we've got to be senior citizens, right, Frank? So
I'm willing to help, Ms. Turner. I'm ready to get this endorsement, and I'm ready to help.
Well, you need to call and let them know, because we just let them know that we want them to hold off on that endorsement, and they may not, but the world will see this tape.
I will definitely be calling them, Ms. Turner, as soon as I end this conversation. I'm a hard worker. I'm ready to roll up my sleeves and get started.
Okay, give us your opinion, pros and cons about Teach for America. Pros and cons about Teach for America.
I think a lot of people feel as though Teach for America has, like you said, they have some good qualities, but they have sponsored certain school board members, and because of that, I feel that certain people in the community may think or may be a little biased to Teach for America.
Okay. All right. In preparation for life in the future, what type of educational opportunity should Atlanta public schools be offering beyond what they're offering right now?
And I was reading, there's a prediction that by the year of 2050, the Atlanta area could add at least about 3 million people. Although we need to be innovative and forward thinkers regarding education, sometimes we may even need to reimagine it. I do think, though, we need to take a step back and reevaluate where we are and look at what is working and what is not working before we get to that point. So there's a lot of work to do.
What type of schools would you like to see? We like performing arts for a reason.
I would like to see entrepreneurship. I think that we always say that, of course we want to push our kids to college, but we need to realize, looking at reality, that some people may not choose to go to college. And of course we need to push them there, but we need to start, and I was thinking about this, an entrepreneurship program, teaching students how to own our own businesses, maybe partnering, being innovative about it, and pushing that, maybe connecting with the city of Atlanta or different partners within the city. And I think something like that may have been implemented before, but maybe it needs to be looked at again. But I would like to see something with entrepreneurship, pushing in that area as well as college.
Okay. Now, and y'all panel, we've not asked anybody to comment on what I'm about to say. Okay. Tell us, how important is character, discipline, being ethical, a sense of morality, not just on the school board, but period, what we should expect of our students and teachers and community. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think you have to lead by example. All of the things that you said, you can't ask someone or a student or staff to implement those ideals if you're not leading by example. So that those things are extremely important. Ethics, character, leadership, honesty, trust. And that's a big one. You must have trust, and you must earn respect. Respect is also to be earned and to be worked for. But once you get that respect, don't take that lightly.
Often, we see people highly criticized when they want accountability in particular areas as it relates to public officials. Some folk in Atlanta, we call them gatekeepers. Some of them run organizations, said it's supposed to be for African Americans, but when African Americans win, everybody wins. All of us in the street of the league, but uh, and they don't like the style of folk being called out. But if they're not called out, everybody's so doggone busy with Twitter and everything else and Facebook and etc. Um, Oftentimes the public will only get sound bites from news media and etc. So this goes into another segue. We have about 5 or 6 employee organizations in the city of Atlanta. All of them are quite different. And some employees don't belong to anything. Therefore, we see a lot of loopholes as it relates to how teachers and employees are actually represented at the table in policy making, those things that affect their bare lives. We see a lot of contractual work, for private contractors and that kind of thing. But how would you like to see employee organizations uh, at the table helping to shape policy and represent employees?
I think employee organizations need a seat at every table. And you mentioned something about participation needs to be increased. That builds an organization. So definitely driving to get more participants, be it reaching out or phone calls or communications or whatever you need to do. I think that would really solve it if you were to get um, more people involved with your organization, and then you can build from that point.
Now, you and I are from Atlanta, and usually labor does not have a formalized process for public sector employees. And folks say, well, we don't have unions here. That's not true. National Labor Relations Board show that several of us, some of us are unions, a couple of us, and we don't have formalized contracts here. So how could we formalize a process? What do you think about that in formalizing a process so that employees would decide who's going to represent their best interest? And of course, those organizations and those leaders are kicked out by the employees when they don't represent those interests. That's how it works. What do you think about that kind of process?
I think that's a good process, but I think in order to get that process going, I think the members of the organization should have a buy-in in how that process is going to go. So their feedback would be crucial.
Okay, thank you. And that's exactly what we do. We have elections around the country.
Yes, more participation.
Now, Buckhead, suppose Buckhead, the movement continues, and it just might to secede from the city of Atlanta. How would that affect Atlanta public schools, and where do you stand on that?
Where I stand on it, I don't think that that is a Buckhead removing itself from Atlanta. I don't see that being a good outcome for all of us. I'm a native here of Atlanta, and I've always known Buckhead to be a part of this city. I think it breeds a lot of opportunity there. I would hate to see Buckhead go off to its own, and I think that may put our education level, especially if that's specifically what we're speaking about, at a deficit, definitely if Buckhead removes itself from Atlanta. So my position is that we need to continue to keep Buckhead as a part of Atlanta. That's my position on that.
All right, okay, thank you so much. How much cash do you need to win this race?
Ms. Turner, I am a grassroots campaign, and I am looking to any endorsement would be great. But if you would like for me to call out a dollar amount, I would say anything between maybe 10 to 15,000.
Okay, thank you so very much for that. Have I covered everything else? So someone have her to say whatever she wants to say. Did I cover everything?
I think so. Unless,
Ron?
no.
Oh, there is one more.
Right.
Principals do not have due process, and we can argue for or against that. And principals do a lot of hard work, especially during COVID. What can we do to provide principals more input, because they can be fired now quicker than a teacher can? What can we do to provide principals with more voice in a non-threatening environment, so that we don't see them as just a boss? Some people see them as a boss, we see them as lead teachers. But what can we do to support our principals?
What I'd like to do is, again, I think we need to have that door open. We need to, again, we need to engage feedback from principals and ask them, what do they need? Where do they need us most? What do we need? If that's not already been done, I'm sure it has, but I don't know what level, at what point has it been done? So what I would like to know from the principals, what can we do to help you? What can this organization do for you? What can we do to support you in your endeavor at your school? What can we do?
Okay. Now, any other statements, anything else that you want to say? Tell us why you would be the person to put on the board, and how would you go about getting the other 4 votes you need to carry out anything?
Well, like I said, I'm running for the school board again. I know I've repeated this before because I'm a product of the Atlanta public school system. I think we have a lot of people on the board, maybe that's not from the city. They haven't seen the city grow. I mean, I've been here. I live in the Vine City community. I live in the same home that has been in my family for over 70 years. I own the home that has been in my family for generations. So there's a lot of heritage there, stability, confidence, leadership, hard work, ready to get started, and you know, ready to give people a voice. I think a lot of people don't have a voice, maybe that need a voice, that need for somebody to stand up and be a leader and not be afraid to roll up the sleeves and get the job done, be available. That's another thing. Also, as a school board member, I would readily be available. You can call me anytime. You can communicate with me anytime. And I know people say that, but I actually mean it.
And we commend you for holding on to your property in Vine City. And thank you, fellow Atlantan.
Yes, Ms. Turner. Yes. And I am ready for your endorsement. I am seeking that heavily, and I hope that you are endorsing me for Atlanta School Board member in District 2 for 2021, November 2nd, 2021 is the election. And I will work on this assignment and reach out to Ms. Sanders and Ms. Scott.
Sandra Williams and Rita Scott.
Sandra Williams, yes, and Ms. Scott, yes.
Thank you, Ms. Carey. We appreciate
Thank
you
you.
coming and
Thank you,
gracing
Ms.
us.
Turner. It was a pleasure, and thank you, panel. Have a good day.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.